Hello. Today I'm going to be talking to you about paper one, which is taking sides in an argument. We're going to walk through the process and the assignment and the grading criteria and such. So if you haven't printed that out or have it pulled up on your device, pause me and go do that and then come back. Okay, we're going to write three papers in this class. The first one is called Taking Sides in an Argument. And usually, when we take sides in an argument, we often show our own biases and prejudices, um, our politics and religious leanings, and our compassion or lack thereof. So, using critical thinking, we're going to assess a set of two articles. In You get to choose from four different topics. I've already pulled the articles for you. They have their citations already done for you at the end. So a lot of the actual research stuff is done for you. Okay. But this is not a research paper. Okay. This is not an opinion piece. This is an evaluation of argument. It's something that we do a lot of in the first unit, a little bit in the second unit, but a lot in the first. And so what we're going to do is you're going to choose one of the topics. You're going to read both of the articles. I would encourage you to print them out and mark them up so that you have a really good idea of what's going on in there. And then we're going to analyze how well these particular articles um, use evidence, use tone, use their approach to counter arguments, how do they talk to people who disagree with them, and the style of the article. We're going to use those criteria to say, oh, this one is better than that one. Okay. Now, most of these are fairly oppositional. One says yes, the other one says no. Okay. But there are a couple that are, well, let's see. The student loan one um, is a little bit less diametrically opposed than the others are. So shouldn't be too bad. Um, what you're going to do is the first thing you're going to do for this paper is to write a summary of each of the articles, basically a paragraph each. And that particular assignment is going to be due on Thursday. Anyway, it's going to, I don't, this is my problem. I want to be as specific as possible, but I don't want to have to redo this particular video every semester. So if you're seeing this and it's not fall, it's okay. You have your dates. So the first thing we're gonna do is write summaries. That way I can see that you're understanding the articles and that you have a good handle on what you're supposed to be doing with them. The second thing we're going to do is you're gonna produce a rough draft of your paper, at least 2 pages, for JAG-Write. And you're going to turn that in to the tutors, and they're going to turn it back to you. And then once you get your paper back from the tutors, you're going to use the feedback that they give you to write a reflection that says, this is how I'm going to change my paper based on their particular feedback. And then you're going to do that, revise your paper that way, send it to me at, post it on Blackboard as the rough draft for instructor review. And then I'm going to give you comments and send those back to you. And then the next week we'll have the final draft to do. So we're going to take about a month on each of these papers. We have 4 months, so it's not too bad. Okay. On your assignment sheet, I have that same link to how to submit your work to the Jaguar writing portal and then where to submit it. Okay, so the YouTube thing is telling you how to do this, and then the second one is actually where you go. Okay, now the grading criteria, I have a writing grading rubric, kind of a general one, posted on Blackboard. And then for this particular paper, there are certain things you need to do. And if you follow the grading criteria, use it kind of like an outline, then you won't have any trouble with this assignment at all. Okay. So you need an introduction, of course, that sets up your analysis, identify the articles, their authors, and your overall assessment. Okay, this is not, and I don't know where this comes, well, I know kind of where it comes from. A lot of students believe that they should basically hold the surprise of what they actually think until later. No, that's not how academic writing works. So in your introduction, at the end of your introduction, tell me what you think. Okay, so did essay A do better or essay B? Why? Just a brief why. Okay. Then you get to put your summaries in there, so that summary work is not wasted work. That is part of your paper. Okay. And then the evidence, okay, a section, a paragraph or so that examines the reasons you believe this particular side is better, more successful anyway. Maybe it's not the one you actually agree with, but the one who has the best argument. Okay. I'm not asking you to review content or agree with content. I'm asking you to look at the paper, look at the article and say, okay, this paper does what it's supposed to do. It says it's going to talk about X, Y, and Z, and it does. Okay. It has this kind of evidence. This is what counts as evidence in experts, what the tone is, the approach to counter arguments, and the style of the argument. Okay, so you have to cover all those things. And then reasons why you believe the other article isn't quite so successful. Maybe it does a really good job on, two of the things and then never talks about counter arguments and is really kind of aggressive in its tone or whatever. Okay. And then a section that examines and explains why you've chosen that side. What previous experience do you have with the issue, prior knowledge of the types of people involved, understanding of the way the world works, etc. Okay, and then a conclusion that wraps things up nicely. Make sure that you use good transitions between the sections, that you have a clear sense of organization. If you struggle with organizing your papers, use the outline here for the grading criteria. Can't go wrong. Okay. Make sure that you pay attention to conventions and formatting. If you're going to, you need to quote both articles at least once. Okay, a little tiny quote, no big deal. If you're going to do MLA, make sure you have a works cited page. If you're going to do APA, you need a references page. In any case, set it up the way you're supposed to set it up. Now, in the weekly work folder in our Blackboard page, there's under the weekly work, under both the reading logs and the chapter exercises, there's a link to an assignment format. You can just pop that up, use it, basically write over the pieces that you need to write over, like it's your name, not student name. Okay. John Smith, the class, Humanities 115, my name as the instructor, Mrs. Oliver, the assignment, okay, so paper 1, rough draft, and then the due date for that particular draft. Okay, so that's anyway, make sure you double space, double space, double space, and use a 12-point font with 1-inch margins. Okay, read it out loud, make sure that you have, fine-tooth comb kind of thing for the errors, and then the AI level for this one is 0. You may not use AI for any part of this assignment, and that includes brainstorming. Okay, just say no. No AI for this. Okay, use your own brain. AI doesn't understand this particular assignment anyway, so if you use AI, it's going to be very noticeable. Okay, so walk through the assignment sheet one more time, and then if you have questions, ask. Okay, not so bad. It's going to be 3 pages. You're going to have lots and lots of help and review and all of that, so take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Okay. Like I said, if you have questions, let me know. You know how to get a hold of me. You have my email. Bye.